Hello. Today we're going to read Curious Critters, Volume 2. First animal we'll learn about is the Monarch Butterfly. Air traffic control, this is Monarch Flight 1 preparing for takeoff, flying from Milkweed, Minnesota to Oyamel Fir Forest, Mexico. The estimated flight time for our 2,000-mile journey is just over 2 months. We're looking at strong northwest winds carrying us today to an altitude of 10,000 feet. More migrating monarchs will be joining us along the way. While we will not be scheduling return flights, our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will be charting the same course, but headed north next year, with our third-generation flyers touching down in Minnesota mid-May. Air traffic control, Monarch Flight 1, is now airborne. There's the Monarch Butterfly. Second animal is the indigo bunting. I love to sit atop fence posts, bushes, and trees and sing. Sweet, sweet, choo, choo, where? Other songbirds complain because I repeat myself, but I enjoy saying things twice, sometimes in very long songs. Sweet, sweet, choo, choo, where? Here, sweeter, sweeter, choo, choo, what? Sweet, sweet. Other males in our song neighborhood sound the same, but if you move to a nearby song neighborhood, you'll hear different calls. Choo, choo, sweeter, sweeter, choo, choo, here, sweet, sweet, sweeter, sweeter, what, sweeter, sweeter, choo, choo. In flight, I call to my mate or other birds with a buzzing zeep, 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 zeep. And when I'm bothered, I say spit. That's the indigo bunting. The next animal is a predaceous diving beetle, and he has a song for us. I will try to sing it. Row, row, row my legs out across the pond. Look for fish, frogs, or worms. I eat whatever's found. Down, down, down I dive. My prey I try to spy. If my food is getting scarce, I can also fly. That's the predaceous diving beetle. Then we have the green frog. I really enjoy photographing green frogs in my local park. He says, 1, 2, 3. Hey, who's there? I was just getting finished up with my workout. You know, building up my muscles for jumping and eating and singing and wrestling. Here, let me show you my muscles. Flex, flex. Pretty strong, eh? Sitting here on the edge of the pond, I'm always jumpy. Never know who's hunting for you. And trust me, if you want strong jumps, you gotta eat right. I chow down on about anything. Insects, spiders, crayfish, snails, even other frogs. Sometimes I eat my own skin after I shed it. Hey, if it's nutritious, I eat it. Then, when I'm done eating, I sing, wink wink, to the froggy girls. Hey, you boys out there, keep out of my territory, you hear? Swim all you want outside my circle. But if you get too near, you'll hear me bark. Then you better look out. I'll jump right out and wrestle you. Now, back to my exercises. 1, 2, 3. So there's the green frog. Here we've got a cool critter, the 9-banded armadillo. He speaks a little Spanish here. Buenos dias, amigos. Yo soy un armadillo. That means I am a little armored one. You see, I am small compared to my ancient relatives. 10,000 years ago, my glyptodon grandparents were as big as cars. Caramba! I guess that makes me muy pequeño, verdad? Now, my eyes may not be strong, but I can see you staring at my shell. Está bien. It is made up of bony plates called scutes, which help protect me from predators like hawks, bears, and coyotes. People often poke fun of me when I'm tearing up their lawns looking for food. They tell me to scoot along. Bah! I just continue rooting around with my long nose, smelling beetles buried deep in the soil. Then I dig 'em up and eat 'em. Delicioso. Well, I guess I will scoot along now. Hasta luego. That's the 9-banded armadillo. Here we have the cave salamander. Do you want to go spelunking? You know, cave exploring? Well, grab your flashlight and let's go. Now that you've squeezed through the entrance, welcome to the twilight zone. Only a small amount of daylight shines into this part of the cave. See the stalactites on the ceiling and the stalagmites on the floor? I love to view them from up here, high in the limestone walls. I use my long tail wedged into cracks to help me climb. Now we're in the dark zone. You may want to turn on your flashlight, but I just switch senses. I sniff for food, spiders, crickets, and flies, and feel vibrations when things move nearby. What's cool is that my prey can't see my long, sticky tongue coming out to catch them. Speaking of cool, it's always about 55 degrees Fahrenheit here. Not a problem for a cold-blooded animal like me, but I bet you're ready to get warmed up. Let's wind our way back out, and thanks for spelunking. That's the cave salamander. Nice orange creature. Then we have the bluegill. Ahoy! Call me Captain Bluegill. I ply these waters looking for good eatin'. Me tall, flat body and me ruthless riggin', you know, me fearsome fins, allow me to sail smartly and steer sharply. If a snail, a worm, or a dragonfly larva dares to dally in me waters, I chase 'em down and suck 'em in. Gulp. Arr, the pond's like bilge water. Matey, I track me food in the murkiest muddle. That pinstripe down me side, it's me lateral line, a giant ear, fore to aft. It picks up vibrations in the water, like which way me dinner is swimming, or what scallywag wants me for dinner. Shiver me timbers, here comes a scurvy catfish. No, blimey, it's a squaffy turtle. I'll not be her dinner. Wankier, me hearties. We're setting sail. That's the bluegill. Here's a cool picture. An American alligator. Maybe if you live in South Carolina or Florida or Louisiana, you've seen some of these in your neighborhood or at a local park. Here in Indiana, we don't have any American alligators, unfortunately. My brothers and I are practicing bellowing. Roar, roar, roar. We want to sound just like Dad. We're learning, but our little lion-like grumblings are nothing compared to his rip-roaring call. Roar, roar, roar. The quiet croaks of our hatchling pod carry a short distance, but let me tell you, when bulls like Dad bellow, Mom and the other females can hear them 500 feet away. That's what we want to sound like. Of course, we're not always so rowdy. Sometimes we simply breathe loudly. That sounds pretty eerie in the middle of the night when we're up hunting. Of course, Dad's much better at this too. He sounds just like Darth Vader breathing. Well, looks like Mom's ready to move. Voice training is over. We're off to practice the high walk. No dragging our bellies today. That's the American alligator. Next we have the Sidewinder. Hocus pocus, rodents focus. Each and every day I perform my wild desert magic. Here's my routine. Wiggling onto the sand, I vanish from view, disappearing from unsuspecting rats and mice. Only my eyes and the top of my sandy-colored body show. When midday prey scampers my way, presto change-o, I transform dry sand into Sidewinder alakazam. With a flash of fangs, the illusion is over. Sim salab him. The trick is blending in. That's the Sidewinder. I really like his desert camouflage. The next animal we have is the gold-green sweat bee. My wife, who is an entomologist, somebody who studies insects, would like this one. I love sweat. No, I don't mean I like to sweat. I can't sweat. I'm a bee. I like it when you sweat. Did you just finish running? Are you nice and sweaty? Great, I'll clean you up. Of course, by clean you up, I mean I'll crawl all over your skin and lick up your sweat. Flowers provide me with food, tasty pollen, washed down with sweet nectar, and drinking sweat from your skin adds salt to my diet. I should warn you, however, don't try to brush me off or accidentally squish me. Back there on my busy end, I have a sweat bee stinger. It doesn't hurt a lot, but I guarantee you, you won't be happy. That's the sweat bee. Here's an interesting animal. The eastern bluebird. Looks like it's still in its egg. Knock, knock. Who's there? Blue. Blue who? Aw, are you lonely? Don't cry. 2 weeks have passed, and I'm ready to hatch. Here I come. Pip, 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 crack. We just put up a bluebird nesting box in our backyard, so hopefully some bluebirds will join us this summer. There's the bluebird egg. Next we have the eyed elater, another insect. My name is eyed elater. No beetle's jump is greater. Click, click, click. If on my back I've landed, and upside down seem stranded, click, click, click. I bend my back way under, then click as loud as thunder. Click, click, click. Explosive upward swirling, then toward the ground unfurling, and somersaults uncurling, only landing stops my twirling. Click, click, click. With luck, I end up standing, my celebrity expanding. Click, click, click. I am the eyed elater, and glad to see you later. There's a close-up picture of the eyed elater. And here we have a picture of a gray squirrel. Although if you ask me, it doesn't look like a gray squirrel, it looks like a white squirrel. Let's read about it. Listen, I sound like a gray squirrel. Meow, meow, meow. I have a bushy, blanket-like tail for keeping me warm in the winter, big ears for hearing predators, and swiveling hind feet for climbing down trees. So I look like a gray squirrel. I even act like a gray squirrel, burying nuts in 1,000 caches and then finding them several months later. So why do you think I'm not a gray squirrel? Oh yeah, I get it. It's the gray thing. I suppose that if I tell you that I'm a gray squirrel, then you'll say I'm an albino. Yeah, everybody thinks that I'm an albino. But I'm not. Look at my eyes. They're not pink. I'm leucistic. That means I lack color pigments in my skin and hair, but unlike albinos, not in my eyes. So I am a gray squirrel, who happens to be white. Check out the eyes. They are not discolored. They are not white. Here's a cool bird, the American Kestrel. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for my next death-defying feat, I, Avid, the amazing American Kestrel, will fly to the harrowing height of 100 feet, and, after attaining such an astonishing altitude, will hover magically in midair. Then, at the drop of a hat, or the movement of a mouse or an insect, I will dangerously dive directly downward. And that's not all. After sustaining superlative speed with earthly impact imminent, I will end my descent just in time, raising my terrific talons and taking my target. Drum roll, please. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can you hear me from up there? Exactly 100 feet high in the sky, I, Avid, the amazing American Kestrel, will begin my fabulous falcon feat, my death-defying dive. I have spotted movement. Here I come. Swoop. Very good with alliteration, too, this American Kestrel is. Next, we have another insect, the Carolina grasshopper. What? You think I should be worried, sitting out in the open, in the dirt and the stones? Nah, nobody's going to eat me. My camo blends very well. Besides, my compound eyes are pretty sharp. I see all kinds of things, like good grasses to eat and where the lady hoppers are hanging out. Or like you, staring at me, and that pesky old kestrel diving down to dine on me. No big deal. I just flip my hind legs, flap my wings, and whizz, jump away. The Carolina grasshopper. Here we have the state bird of Indiana, along with many other states, the northern cardinal. A couple of weeks ago, my crested cutie and I flitted from bush to bush looking for the perfect spot for our nest. We found it right in the middle of a tall, dense shrub. It took a week to build it, as I flew in with twigs, then leaves, then grapevine bark, and finally grass and pine needles. My swinging sweetie put our cup-shaped nest together. Then, after laying 3 eggs, my orange-beaked beauty began sitting on them while I brought her seeds to eat. A dozen days later, our hatchlings pecked their way out. They look so cute. But we weren't finished. We built another nest, and now the apple of my eye is incubating our second clutch of eggs. I'm feeding her seeds again, as well as stuffing countless caterpillars, katydids, beetles, spiders, and centipedes into 3 gaping mouths of our ever-hungry nestlings. Here's a northern cardinal. On the next page, we have a geometer moth. Yes, it's true. I'm pretty good at math. Specifically, I'm good with measurements. For example, I can tell you that 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Normally, I don't measure things that are miles long. Rather, I spend my time measuring trees, usually while looking for leaves to eat. Trees are best measured in feet, but sometimes I measure branches or twigs, which are often less than a foot. I know that 12 inches equals 1 foot. Speaking of feet, I have fewer feet than other caterpillars. Most have 3 additional pairs of legs, or prolegs, in the middle of their bodies. Not having these sets of prolegs allows me to loop ahead faster than other kinds of caterpillars. With each looping stride, I inch along. Therefore, I equal 1 inch. I am an inchworm. And here's a close-up picture. The geometer moth. And here we have a very cute picture of 4 eastern cottontail bunnies. And they have, all 4 of them have things to say to you. So let me get this straight. Mom's going out to eat? Yeah, going out to eat and leaving us here for hours? Yep, she said to stay in our nest, sit really still and blend in with the twigs and grass. Why? Forget that. What about this running thing? Why can't we run in a straight line? Are we really supposed to zigzag? You mean never run straight our whole lives? Well, Mom says it helps us to get away from owls and hawks, foxes, coyotes, bobcats. I'm scared. Me too. Okay, I can live with being left behind while Mom eats out with all the running zigzaggy weird. But after we finish digesting our food and it goes through our bellies and all, are we really supposed to eat our own, yuck. You mean we eat our own feces? Feces? What are feces? Poop. Who said that? I did. That's what I heard. Yep. By eating grasses twice, we get more nutrients the second time through. All rabbits do it. What's wrong with that? Ew. That's disgusting. Eastern cottontail. Here we have the striped skunk, who has a limerick to share with you, by S. Skunk. My skunk reputation's maligned. On bees and small rodents I dine. And what spray that you fear, coming out of my rear, I think odoriferously fine. That's the striped skunk. And over here we have one of my favorite birds, the great horned owl. Shh! Look, who is coming to my dinner party, dressed in a skunky tuxedo and rhyming ridiculously. I'd roll my eyes at you, malodorous mammal, but alas, my eyeballs are set in their sockets, so I'll just have to turn my whole head to look down at you. Of course, I knew who was walking through the woods. My large ears perceive you're shuffling along. At dinner time, some birds might wish they had better noses, but the way I see it, who is more fortunate than I am not to be able to smell every smell. Time to fly down from my perch now. Ciao. That's the great horned owl. And that's the end of our book. Thank you for joining me to read David FitzSimmons, Curious Critters. If you're interested in looking at more of David's work, you can go to curious-critters.com.